the very first thing we're going to do is pull the available cryptocurrency assets for Binance.us and Coinbase centralized exchanges. And I specify US because on line 17, this is for United States. Obviously, Binance and Binance.us kind of split up a few years ago. Now, I'm working under the assumption also that you have some pretty basic Python development fluency. Like you can see on lines 5 and 6 that we're using the Binance client and also CCXT for Coinbase. So you'd have to know how to kind of set that up. And finally, you can see on line 17 and 27 that I set the Coinbase and Binance keys and secrets as system variables because it's a little bit more secure than, well, obviously hard coding would be not secure at all. And even putting an output file shows where it lives. So this is basically, I would say, a security best practice for keeping your information secure. Now, starting with the logging output, what I want to do is track the runtime. So that's the very first thing that happens. But what we do is use the logging library to create the file, which is named at the exact moment the program is run. So that's all this is doing. It's putting it in the temp folder and it's creating the file name based upon whenever the program is run. And this is going to be pretty minimal output for the logging. It's just going to be logging.info, so it only outputs what I tell it to explicitly. Now, Binance is going to have set comprehension. So after you use the API.getExchangeInfo, then it will put all of the asset names into one set, output to file. And you can see that if bn_assets is not created in the try, then I at least create the empty set in the exception. That's kind of a defensive programming technique, because later on line 35 you can see that if bn assets and cb assets exist, then we're going to show the intersection, like which ones are shared between both of the exchanges. And if this wasn't created, whether in the try or the except, then this would error out on line 35. Now, Coinbase, I went with CCXT and not one of the Coinbase APIs because, frankly, I mean, Coinbase keeps changing. It was Coinbase Standard, then Coinbase Pro, then Coinbase Advanced SDK, and now they're on to Coinbase Advanced Trade. So I'd rather just put CCXT in charge of keeping up with their code base, because if you use the official Coinbase tools, then they're probably going to change it pretty soon anyway. And on line 28, you can see that after we fetch currencies, now that's going to be a dictionary, and I'm pulling all the keys and then just wrapping this inside a set, and that will be all the Coinbase assets. Then likewise, it's logged. And finally, I just want to see the intersection. So what are the assets that are in common? And that's what that little ampersand on line 36 does. You could also use .intersection, but anyway. And then finally, we're going to calculate the runtime. And that's pretty much the story. So I have a little shortcut key to run the program in NeoVim. We'll just do that real quick. And another shortcut key to open up the file. Okay, yeah, 180 Binance assets, 447 with Coinbase, and they share 121 in common. And that took a little over a second and a half. That seems kind of slow. Let's run it a couple more times. So I'm keeping track of the running time because this is not much, but machine learning, advanced modeling, technical analysis, it can kind of spin out of control if you're not really diligent with tracking the runtime. So yeah, 1.38, so a little bit quicker this time. And one more time just for funsies. And in this case, 1.14. So yeah, less than 2 seconds we can pull the assets for Binance, for Coinbase, and the ones in common. Now, I like Coinbase because they have a lot of assets, but the main reason I like Coinbase, despite me griping about their API, is Coinbase 1 allows for free trades. And by free, I mean you still pay the spread, but that's just kind of a reality of any exchange. So if I were to convert ETH to something else in Coinbase, for instance, then I would lose 1.1% on that conversion. But Binance, it would be higher fees, and well, Coinbase without the Coinbase One accounts would be ridiculously higher fees. So that's kind of the strategy moving forward is Coinbase One for the trade fee benefit. But anyway, so that's pretty much it.